Welcome back to Leeds Lately. Today's video is going to be another transfer video. They're coming thick and fast now because we are ramping things up in the transfer window. But before we get into it, make sure you go ahead and hit that big red button down below as it massively helps me out. Today's video is about a very fresh new link to Lille left back, Gabriel Gudmundsson. Now the Swede is 26 years old. Like I said, plays out at left back. He's 5'9", as you can see from the graphic on screen. And his price is around 7 million euros. I imagine though that Lille may ask for a few more than that, although he does only have 1 year left on his contract as of June 30th. That expires in 2026. So Gabriel Gudmundsson, then, the kind of strap line for him is that he's a marauding left back and he's got great ball carrying ability and he's got great take-on ability as well. Take-on ability, we'll go with it. As we did in the last video as well, if you haven't seen that, go and check that out about Noah Siddiqui. We have a rating system for these transfers. First of all, we go for the value. So value, i.e. this is the price they've set. Is that value for money? Is that a good deal for Leeds? For me, this is great value. At 26 years old, he's not the youngest player in the world. He's not this kind of up-and-coming wonder kid, but he's just about coming into the prime years of his career where his kind of will be at the peak of his powers. And to get him for around 7 million euros, probably about 5 or 6 million pounds, maybe rising to around 10 if they ask for a little bit more. Even then, I think it would be a great deal. And the reason is because 5 stars for the system. He fits the system perfectly in terms of being that marauding fullback. Now, we've got some clips, as we did in the Siddiqui video as well later on, that we're going to analyse about kind of the positions he finds himself in and where he picks up the ball. But there are a lot of similarities to Junior Firpo in the way he gets forward, and so you can see why he's been identified as such. I know Andrea Russo commented that he's kind of in the similar mould to some of the Atalanta fullbacks of previous years, like Gosens and Joachim Mæhle as well, which is one of the statistically one of the similar players to Gabriel Gudmundsson. So it all looks great to start with, so let's have a look at some of his statistics then. This season, he has scored 2 goals and got 0 assists, when obviously, actually he got an assist in the Champions League, but not in the league. So when we look at that, it doesn't look fantastic, but we kind of want to look at the eye test and the underlying statistics. Kind of, does he get himself into the right areas, and does he kind of, is he one of those players who always finds himself in the right place at the right time, and his positioning is very good. So when we look at his statistics, then it becomes clear that he is not the perfect footballer. But I don't think that's what Leeds are looking for at the moment. I think because of this whole database recruitment thing that we're going for, we're looking for player profiles, people who completely fit the system and what we're trying to do. And like I said before, because there's a little bit of a comparison to somebody like Junior Firpo in the way that he plays, I think that's why he's been identified. So when we look through some of his statistics, they don't look fantastic in certain areas, but the areas which are important to the recruitment team look like they have been addressed. So when we have a little look at his defensive capabilities, which we'll get out of the way first because I know people will be a little bit worried about this. Tackles 1.7 per 90 puts him in the 32nd percentile. Interceptions 0.91 puts him in the 50th percentile, so bang average. Blocks 0.95, 35th percentile. Clearances 2.22. Which puts him in the 25th percentile. Aerials 0.52, 23rd percentile. They're very low. There's only one that's bang average, and the rest of them are very low for those defensive statistics. But if you're playing in a team like Lille, who are going to be up towards the top of the division, playing in the Champions League and stuff like that, you are going to be a team who dominates the ball a lot. Junior Firpo last season was barely a defender. He was just a winger pretty much the whole time. And somebody like Gudmundsson is kind of so used to playing in those positions that sometimes he actually does get played as a left midfielder or a left winger. That's how kind of attacking minded he is. So when we look at the things that Leeds have probably identified as the player profile for this, the things that we want to see, we actually look at his possession statistics. What does he do when he has the ball? So his pass completion rate is 81.1% in the 64th percentile compared to the top 5 leagues. Now, the reason I think having a quite high pass completion rate as a left back is really important for a team like Leeds is that we do like to build out from the back, and a lot of the time the fullbacks will go high and wide, and then when the build-up starts they'll drop in a little bit, and they like to make 1-2 passes and triangles to try and get that interplay to be able to play out from the back. Junior Firpo did it a lot last season, Jayden Bogle as well, with those little passing triangles and then making those runs to get forward. So I think Gudmundsson is somebody who could handle that aspect of the game, which is good. The kind of the other things we'll go through before the standout statistics is progressive passes. 4.36 per 90 puts him in the 70th percentile. Touches in the attacking penalty area, 1.86 puts him in the 70th percentile, and progressive passes received, 5.39 per 90 puts him in the 75th percentile. So A, he's passing the ball forward. B, he's actually receiving the ball in the final third and in the penalty area. And C, when we get onto his most impressive statistics, are his progressive carries and his successful take-ons. So his progressive carries sit up at 3.45 per 90, putting him in the 92nd percentile. So the top 8% of ball carriers that are fullbacks in the top 5 leagues. So he is really, really proficient at getting the ball forward, whether that be passing or carrying the ball as well. In terms of his successful take-ons as well, he's up at 1.15 per 90, which puts him in the 90th percentile, the top 10%. And he is somebody who is going to progress the ball up the pitch. He's going to carry the ball for you, and he's going to get you forward up the pitch. And that is so important in the Premier League. We talked about this in the Noah Siddiqui video from yesterday. So if you want to go and check that one out as well, that one's also a good watch in terms of ball carrying and ability to get forward. So yes, Gabriel Gudmundsson is not perfect in the defensive department, but the kind of player profile that Leeds have identified is that they want him to be able to carry the ball forward. They want him to be able to progress the ball and get into those final third positions, which is what we're going to have a look at now. So when we have a little look at the highlights that I've picked out here, the first one is Gudmundsson in the half space. So if we look at this clip, you can see his starting position. He's on the edge of the box in the half space. And then when I actually have a little look here and highlight, you can see that his winger is actually outside him and he is taking up the half space, Gudmundsson. So when the ball comes over the top, he's got an overload on the edge of the box, which is what Leeds love to create. There's the half space. You can see now that because of the overload, he's actually a spare man in there. He's free inside the box and he's able to have all that space to run into towards goal. He can't quite take it under his spell, but he gets a nice back heel off, and eventually with a bit of luck the ball comes back to him. But that space that he had there was created by having that ability to overload the back line, which is something that Leeds will definitely look to do. The second clip here is similar, but the other way around essentially. So you can see that he starts out wide this time, and we'll highlight here that his winger is actually inside in the half space. So again, those rotations are something that Leeds look to do all the time. You can see that that's the kind of space that they want to play in there. And as he passes the ball out, you can see he continues his run towards the box here. Even though the ball is going in the opposite direction, he knows that he has to follow in towards that back post to try to create opportunities. So as the ball comes out to Cabella out on the left-hand side and he opens up to shoot, you can still see that he's on the move there. And he wants to be able to get into that space in front of him, which you can see there's plenty of room for him to get in there. So as the shot comes in and hits the bar, he's there to just finish it off with his weak foot in a really good fashion. So you can see that those are the sorts of clips. If you'd have just put a white kit there and said that that was Leeds and said that that was Firpo and Dan James or Nonto or whatever, you would have believed that, because those rotations are exactly what Daniel Farke wants to see from his fullback. And I think it's very important to note that Gudmundsson is very good at doing that, and is one of the reasons why he's probably been identified by Daniel Farke and the recruitment team as somebody that they want to look at. So when we summarise then on Gabriel Gudmundsson, is he the perfect left back? Is he the best left back in the world? No, he's not a completely well-rounded player, but he ticks the boxes in the right places, and that's what Leeds are trying to do. If you spend £7 to £10 million on somebody like Gabriel Gudmundsson, you can then go ahead and put bids in, like apparently Leeds have done, for people like Rodrigo Muniz, which are the big money signings for a striker. So Leeds are doing this in a clever, intelligent way, and I like to see it, because it's not just throwing money at anyone. It's having thought of it, having actually put the effort into scout and to look into the type of player profile that Leeds want. And I think it's important to note that Gudmundsson is very good in the situations Leeds want him to be very good in. Let me know what you think of Gabrielle Goodmundsson down in the comments below. Also, make sure you check out all the links in the description to the Leeds Creator Cup on the 20th of July, all in aid of Prostate Cancer UK. Tickets are available still. And there is also my prints that I've designed myself on my Etsy shop, if you go and click the link down below and find them. And then also there is Back 4 merch, of which I am wearing one of their t-shirts right now. So if you use Leeds Lately 10 at checkout, you get 10% off. And if you use my link in the description, I'll get a commission as well, as it is an affiliate link. But thanks for watching Leeds Lately, and I'll see you in the next one.